I never meant to turn my life into the kind of train wreck saga you scroll past on R True Off My Chest at 3 in the morning. But here we are. 6 months ago, I was engaged to the love of my life, planning a small beach wedding and browsing Pinterest boards for centerpieces I pretended to care about. 2 weeks ago, I was standing in my childhood driveway at midnight, holding a USB drive full of audio that would burn my sister's world to ash. And yesterday, I pressed post on the security camera compilation that turned 3 lives upside down. For context, I'm 27, a software engineer who still lives close to where we grew up in Maryland. My sister Julia is 24, social media smart and retail dumb, working at a boutique and living for Instagram stories. Mark, my best friend since we were 12, is 27 like me and manages regional sales for a craft beer distributor. The last key player is Lauren, my ex of 5 years ago. We dated all through college, imploded senior year, and I hadn't spoken to her since. Not because I hated her, but because distance is cheaper than emergency therapy. Enter Mia, my fiancée. We met at a mutual friend's rooftop party, one of those city nights where traffic honks under staccato EDM and everyone nurses a plastic cup of something vaguely tropical. She asked what I was drinking. I admitted I'd grabbed the wrong cup 30 minutes earlier and had rolled with it. She laughed at the honesty. 18 months later, we were ring shopping. Mia is calm where I'm anxious, blunt where I ramble. My mom loved her. My sister tolerated her, barely. Julia adored Lauren for reasons that always felt weirdly personal. She claimed Lauren got our family better, baked the cookies Mom liked, went antique shopping with her. She called Mia corporate. Mia works for a nonprofit, so the label made 0 sense, but Julia clung to it like gospel. Mark, meanwhile, had been vocal about thinking Lauren and I were endgame even after we bowed out. I chalked their nostalgia up to comfort. They'd known Lauren for years, and change freaks people out. That naivete cost me everything. First hint something was off: my bachelor party planning. Mark volunteered to handle everything. The original idea, camping and brewery tours, morphed into renting a lake house 2 towns over. Sounded fine. I didn't know he'd invited Lauren until we pulled into the driveway and she stepped onto the porch, holding a cooler like she belonged there. My stomach dropped so fast I considered calling Mia right then. But Mark pulled me aside, swore Lauren's new boyfriend was arriving next day, said she just wanted to congratulate me. Lauren spent the weekend hovering near me, dropping inside jokes that made the new guys in the group laugh, and Mia's brother look uncomfortable. I barricaded myself behind board games and grilling duties. Monday morning, Lauren left before sunrise, allegedly to meet that boyfriend. I exhaled relief. 2 weeks later, Mia got an anonymous email, a slideshow of photos from the lake house, all carefully cropped or timed to imply intimacy between me and Lauren. A hug from behind when she surprised me. A blurry pic of us chatting alone on the dock. A group selfie where her hand rested on my shoulder. The message: "Are you sure you're marrying the right person?" Mia confronted me after work, eyes red, voice flat. I explained every frame, showed texts proving we hadn't had private contact. She believed me logically, but couldn't unknot the emotional rope. We paused the wedding. That space expanded into a canyon. Deposits hung in limbo. Julia offered to take Mia to brunch and sort things out. I thought that was kindness. Mia came home 3 hours later, silent as a shut door. She wouldn't say what Julia told her, only that she needed more time. A week later, she slept at her sister's place. During that week, I made 2 discoveries. First, The anonymous email traced back to a burner Gmail created from an IP address belonging to Mark's office. Second, Lauren wasn't dating anyone. Her Instagram told the exact opposite story. Captions about heartbreak and starting over, all posted after the lake weekend. The puzzle pieces clicked together like a gun being loaded. I confronted Mark at his apartment. Low voice, no theatrics. He claimed ignorance, said an intern used office Wi-Fi on the email prank. When I asked if he invited Lauren to sabotage me, he laughed it off as a social experiment. My knuckles wanted to answer, but I left. Fighting would give him a bruise and a story. I needed evidence, so I played dumb. I apologized to Mia for stressing her out, told her I'd respect whatever timeline she needed. Meanwhile, I bought 2 discrete recording devices, 1 pen, 1 key fob camera, and visited Julia under the guise of emotional support. We drank wine in her tiny living room decorated with throw pillows that spelled family. I vented about missing Mia. Julia stroked my arm like a villain petting a cat and suggested inviting Lauren over again to remind you of real chemistry. That sentence tasted like battery acid, but I swallowed it. Mark texted me 2 days later. Come to my place Friday. Just us and Julia. We have an idea. I agreed and clipped the camera to my backpack strap, lens aimed at the couch. The night unfolded like cringe theater. Julia and Mark laid out a timeline of fabricated incidents they'd feed Mia to prove I was still emotionally cheating. While they spoke, my phone vibrated. A message from Lauren, also invited, that she was parking. Perfect. She breezed in wearing Mia's favorite lipstick shade, offered me a hug. I sidestepped and pretended to browse Mark's bookshelf while the camera captured the scene. The trio discussed staging a surprise confession party where Lauren and I would allegedly realize we'd always loved each other. Julia said, "Once Mia sees you kiss, she'll dump him. Then Ethan can heal and remember why Lauren fits better." Mark clinked bottles with her. I kept my face neutral. Inside, tectonic plates shifted. The next morning, I met Mia at a coffee shop. I laid the pen on the table, pressed play. 37 minutes of crisp betrayal flowed out. Her hands trembled, then steadied. We didn't cry. Something colder replaced grief. She listened twice. When it ended, she asked one question. What do we do? Revenge, but surgically precise. We mapped it that afternoon. First, secure legal ground. Maryland is a one-party consent state, so my recordings were admissible. Second, collect more. Over the next week, I played along with Julia's plan. I met Lauren for drinks, telling her I was confused, while the fob camera recorded her bragging that Julia promised her my grandmother's ring once Mia was out of the picture. I let Mark take me suit shopping, where he suggested colors that would match Lauren's eyes, capturing every word. Third, orchestrate the reveal. We chose Mom's birthday barbecue, neutral ground, and guaranteed attendance. I told Mom I wanted to set up a projector for a family slideshow. She loved the idea. Saturday arrived. The backyard smelled of charcoal and nostalgia. Mia attended, wearing the engagement ring she'd never returned, though on a chain around her neck instead of her finger. Julia eyed it like a trophy. When dusk settled, I tapped my glass for attention. I thanked everyone, then cued the slideshow. Childhood photos dissolved into a video title. The Truth About the Breakup Scheme. Julia's smile froze. Mark's bottle paused halfway to his lips. Lauren paled. The footage rolled. Their meeting at Mark's place, date stamped. Julia describing the kiss setup. Mark calling Mia collateral damage. Lauren nodding, saying, "He'll thank us later." Gasps cut the night air. Mom whispered, "Oh my God." Dad's jaw set like concrete. I let silence stretch, then spoke. "That's why Mia moved out. That's what your daughter and my supposed best friend thought was acceptable." I turned to them. "Anything to add?" Julia claimed the clips were edited. I projected the raw audio, her voice, no cuts, plotting fake photos. Mom closed her eyes like the sun hurt. Lauren stepped forward, tried to grab my arm. Mia intercepted, voice low. "Don't touch him." Fourth, we targeted their careers. Mark's company forbids using resources for harassment. I forwarded the burner email header and video of him admitting he sent it. He was suspended by lunch and fired 2 days later. Julia's influencer income relied on brand partnerships tied to a wholesome sister aesthetic. Mia, who works in nonprofit marketing, compiled a dossier of the scheme and sent it, without comment, to every brand in Julia's Linktree. Partnerships vanished within 3 days. One vegan cosmetics line posted, "We stand against bullying and manipulation." Julia's follower count tumbled from 82,000 to under 35. Lauren caught shrapnel too. During my drink recording, she'd boasted of breaking her lease early because she expected to move in with me by fall. I emailed her landlord the clip as proof she'd conspired to dodge rent. He pursued her for fees. Small claims court isn't glamorous, but justice rarely is. People ask if I forgave any of them. No. Forgiveness is a gift you hand someone who tripped accidentally, not a trophy awarded to architects of misery. I chose closure. Mia and I went to counseling, not because I doubted her, but to disinfect the wounds. Trust rebuilt slowly, plank by plank. 2 months later, she moved back in. The ring left the necklace and returned to her finger. Julia texted apologies that read more like brand statements. I take accountability for my actions and the hurt they caused. I replied with a single sentence, "We're done." She called Mom, who told her to respect my boundary. Last I heard, Julia moved to an extended stay motel. Her income dried up, hawking designer bags on Poshmark to stay afloat. Mark mailed a handwritten letter claiming he'd been drinking too much, struggling with loneliness, and saw reuniting me with Lauren as a Hail Mary. I didn't answer. Actions tattoo themselves onto character. No rehab date listed. He took a job 3 states away, rumored pay cut of half. People whisper he's suing the distributor for wrongful termination. Good luck with discovery. Lauren posted a cryptic TikTok about loving someone enough to fight for them. Comments were brutal. Internet detectives already knew. She went private. A mutual friend bumped into her at a dive bar. She mentioned therapy and a possible move west. I hope she finds whoever she's looking for, far away from me. As for Maya and me, we downsized the wedding to a courthouse ceremony with immediate family. No bouquet toss, no DJ, just vows, rings, and a lunch reservation. I sent an invitation to Julia, unopened, with a typed note, "Actions have consequences." Then I rescinded it before she could respond. A petty flourish, but I'm done minimizing anger to appear noble. I shared the recordings online because cautionary tales matter. The post blew up. Thousands of strangers validated that manipulative love is abuse wearing friendly faces. Some begged me to forgive for the sake of healing. I replied once, "Healing doesn't require pretending poison is water." Do I miss Mark? Sometimes. 15 years of memories don't evaporate. They curdle. I won't rewrite good times as bad, But neither will I deny that the boy who shared my first sip of whiskey became the man who tried to dismantle my future. That paradox lives with me. I've scanned every frame of projector night, looking for hesitation in their eyes, some flicker of regret. I found none. That, more than anything, justifies my lack of forgiveness. Remorse can't be coaxed. It either erupts at impact or never forms. People online ask what I'd do if Julia showed genuine change years from now. I don't know. Today isn't years from now. Today I'm busy living the life she tried to rewrite. I kiss Mia goodbye each morning, code for 8 hours, and come home to a peace that finally feels earned. I attend therapy, lift weights, and learn to cook something new every Wednesday. Life is delicious with the right ingredients and no secret poison. I keep the pen recorder in my desk drawer, battery charged. Not because I'm paranoid, because I trust myself to act if treachery knocks again. Call it a souvenir from the stranger I used to be, a man who assumed love guaranteed loyalty. Now I verify. 3 weeks after the barbecue, Dad invited me fishing. Out on the reservoir, he apologized for missing the warning signs. I told him none of it was his fault, yet the admission mattered. We sat with lines in the water long enough for him to say he'd always known Julia craved attention and now feared that hunger had eaten her conscience. I didn't disagree. Mom copes by turning pain into projects. She launched a donation drive for emotional abuse victims at her church, introducing it as Hope in Action. I volunteered one Saturday and spent an hour packing toiletries beside a high school kid escaping a toxic friend group. I didn't preach revenge. I listened and reminded him distance isn't selfish. Empathy feels cleaner once you've bled out the fakes. Consequences kept rippling. Julia, booted from brand deals, tried renting a cheaper apartment. The landlord called me for a reference. I declined. She landed back in a motel, then posted a GoFundMe that trolls linked to my Reddit post. Reality isn't cruelty. It's the bill for overdrafted empathy. Mark's parents sent a card apologizing for his choices and wishing us peace. I replied with thanks and a photo of the lone bass Dad and I caught. Small, but enough. I heard Mark took a pay-cut job 3 states away and blames cancel culture. Denial is cheaper than accountability. Lauren's aftermath was predictable. Old classmates messaged me about her pattern of wrecking relationships for sport. I archived the screenshots. Sometimes clarity arrives too late to help, but it still feels good to flip on the light. Therapy dug deeper. My counselor had me list 10 non-negotiable values and tape them inside my closet. Honesty over harmony, loyalty is proven not promised, and so on. The last line reads, "I can keep the good and discard the bad, even if the bad shares my last name." Mia created a new Pinterest board titled Life Shrunk to What Matters. It's all tiny European apartments, street food stalls, minimalist rings. Every Sunday we pick a pin and cook whatever dish it shows. Last week we scorched the first Spanish tortilla, laughed, and nailed the second. Healing tastes like potatoes and olive oil. We opened a joint escape fund for spontaneous adventures. Bus tickets, last-minute concert seats, maybe a month in Lisbon. Plotting unpredictability feels like reclaiming the future. Last week, Julia tagged me in a childhood photo. Heart caption, "Clear bait." I removed the tag and blocked her everywhere. Boundaries are alarms. When they ring, you don't negotiate. That may sound harsh. Remember, Julia and Mark didn't just break trust. They vandalized it, spray painting over the life Mia and I planned. Sandblasting graffiti requires power tools, not gentle scrubbers. Will the scars fade? Probably not. But scars are proof I survived battles I never asked for. They remind me I'm not a victim. I'm the author. Final draft locked. Comments closed. For anyone wondering about the wedding, we kept the courthouse plan, but added our own twist. Each guest brought a single item symbolizing resilience. Mom handed me a spoon she'd used through rough years. Dad offered the mounted bass hook. Mia's sister donated a metro ticket from the night Mia moved out, and then chose to return. I placed them in a shadow box I built in the garage. It hangs by our door, proof that storms can feed stronger foundations. The rebuild feels endless.